And for us, that's what we struggle with, because we see these products, we know it's a good thing, it's not something we need to do, but if we don't have the funding behind it, it's not going to materialize. And I'm going to use one of Jeff's, and Jeff's not here today, he couldn't be with us. I'm going to use one of Jeff's sayings. It's our job at 911 is to provide the best possible experience to our customers. And our customers are the person that's having the worst day of their life when they call 911. It's plain and simple. The other part about this is that a lot of us in our 911 centers have went out and got these different pieces of technology that will help us. Panic button, smart 911, the Rave Aware. But it's bringing all that under one platform. That's huge. Like right now, the dispatcher has his or her computer dispatch system up full time in front of them, but in the background, there's the smart 911 app, there's the Rave Aware app. There's these different apps that live in the background that when something happens, they'll pop to the front. But just imagine if all that was integrated into one system and it was that inclusive. That's really, in my opinion, where we need to go. And with that, I think I'll stop.
No, it's a perfect way to summarize it. I think I couldn't have said it better myself, so I won't try. But Chris, you can kind of pick up on that theme of enhanced technology and enhanced ECC, but still some gaps because it's part of it's outside the 911 network. So take it away.
Good morning. Chris Freeman, Director of Marshall County 911 in Marshall County, Kentucky. Member of the Institute Board. I'm the Events Committee Chair. I've been in 911 for about 27 years, if you count full-time, part-time experience. I've been a telecommunicator in one CPSAP. I ran the State Police Radio Room. I've been a trainer for 13 years in the state of Kentucky, and now I'm the ECC Director in Western Kentucky. One of the things I'm hired to do was build a new emergency communication center from the ground up. In this particular area, this area had suffered from 2 school shootings, one in January of 2018. I was at a different PSAP when that happened. I watched it on the news. They were 2 hours away from me. Most of the telecommunicators in the state of Kentucky I knew because I trained them. My 10 to 13 years at the OCJT, which is the Department of Criminal Justice Training. So I was sitting there at my desk and I'm watching this stuff go down. I'm watching all of these centers make all these calls because they couldn't get a call in or out of the center that's happened in because of just the influx of calls. Parents want to know how their children were. Other responders want to know what's going on. Do you need help? Do you need help? All this other stuff. They couldn't get any calls out. Other centers were suffering because they were now taking the calls that were supposed to come to us. And like Karina said, it doesn't shut down. You still have an ambulance needed over here, but you have all your resources sitting here. And it's just a chaotic time frame. In 1994, there was another one in the neighboring county, and the person who did that's actually out for parole now. So that's kind of a hot button issue in our region as we move forward. But another thing I want to touch on is interoperability. Joe mentioned that. The big buzzword in public safety is interoperability, but inside a PSAP like mine, there's no interoperability. You have a radio system separate from a CAD system, separate from a phone system, all these peripheral applications that are running in the background, like Joe said. And when disaster hits, it's all in your face, and you got to figure out how to work all this stuff. And there's no training for it. And everybody's developing apps and other things that are outside of our main working equipment that just adds to the job of telecommunicator does. And sitting in that seat, I understand that. And, like I said, I've been in a one seat PSAP where, everything's gone chaotic and I'm having to do this by myself. I have to prioritize what to answer, what not to answer. And, it's tough. So one of the things I did, I had to focus on a funding model for the particular center they wanted to build. So instead of taking landline fees and taxes, we moved those off of the landline and put that on an electric meter in every house in the community. We put a $7 fee, $7 fee. That was very dramatic, I'll just say. It cost me some sleepless nights, some attacks on my sanity. People thought I was crazy, but they don't understand what it costs. And, this particular community hired me to build a regionalized center and basically take over 911 in Western Kentucky. That was not a welcome sight. The other folks in the community didn't want to lose their 911 center, didn't want to lose control. We put that $7 fee on and immediately got sued by the electric company, so that's in federal court now. We're in mediation, basically to determine how much money the electric company's gonna get for collecting the fee for us. So that's kind of where we are. Hopefully by the end of the year, that'll all be sorted out and we'll be on our new budget, which included a hefty training and travel budget for those telecommunicators, because like Freeman and Joe both said, if you don't train them, how do you extend that workforce? How do you put this technology in there and build the next leader if you don't train them to use what they have? So that's in there. There's 3 tiers of pay. So you start with me at $17 an hour. You stay with me, you get certain certifications from NINA and APCO, you can get up to $26 an hour, which is a pretty good salary for my small community of about 35,000 people. Needless to say, past 3 years have been tough getting the center built, but we're moved in. And, you know, one of the things that I wanted to do was add some safety to our schools and stuff. So I put I was lucky, in a sense. So when I took over, there was a fire that took a county building. So they built the 911 center with the funds from the insurance monies for that building. So we got a building that houses 3 different departments of the county for about $900,000 extra on top of the money. So we divide that by 3 agencies, so around $300,000 for the shell of the building. And then we took out a low cost or low interest bond through DLG, the Department of Local Government in the state of Kentucky. And I put a debt service in that budget, that $7 fee, to pay all of that back. And then there's certain caveats in there in that $7 fee to help build our radio infrastructure, which is non-existent. We can't talk across our community. When I show you the slides of where it came from to where we are now, you're just going to be shocked. But in the school safety arena, we actually partnered with a company called ASR, or Active Shooter Response. They have a wireless panic button that hits a hub and then shoots out to this peripheral application, which is on a tablet. When they called me and they done this demo, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not going to work in my center. So, you know, we're on a Zoom call, and I asked the guy, I said, can you FaceTime? And I walked him through my center. I said, where am I going to put your tablet? I've got 7 positions here. You've got 1 tablet. I've got 7 people working. Who's going to monitor that tablet? Where's it going to sit? How are they going to get up and interact with that tablet on the wall? And he was speechless. So I took him to my server room, and I have a Think-Logical Matrix switch, which is a fiber optic extender. So all my computers in the back extended to the front. So I put his tablet on one of those extenders. Now every position in my center has access to that. It lives on my video wall. Something comes in, they pull it down, they interact with the alert, they get the map of where the button actually was pushed, and multiple alerts can come in. So now any telecommunicator can take that call, interact with that product, but without that extender, I have no interoperability. So from sitting in that seat, I built a workflow. And that's the other thing Karima was mentioning. There is no workflow for us. How do you determine what to do? That's how the RAID product got missed in the call center. There's nothing that says, okay, at this point, interject RAID. It's basically, I'm hanging on, I'm winging it as I go, because there's no workflow. Every call has a different development inside it, a different workflow. So what we have to do is build our tools, or have our tools built for us, that takes into consideration that workflow. So that's kind of what we did. So that's what I came from. When I walked in the door, that's what I took over on the left-hand side. That's what we built. So can you show me yeah, there's the front side. So that's where everything's right. Bottom right-hand corner is a 324 fiber optic matrix switch, RBG spectrum above it. So if I lose one of them, I still have the ability to route video and other things through the RGB spectrum. It will route everything to the PC. That's one of my positions in my call center. I've got the planar wall. That's where my panic buttons will live. And the cool thing about, I want to stand up for just a second, sorry. The cool thing about what I did is I took ergonomics into consideration. When you have a 911 center, you have these 6 to 8 monitors sitting there, right? And most things are static on those monitors. So the operator sits down and their CAD's here, their map's here. The radio might be on this monitor, the phone may be over here. They can't change that. In mine, they can put anything anywhere they want to. And if at any point in time anybody struggles, a supervisor can actually watch what they're doing, interact with their screen. They can actually pull a view only from the supervisor's desk. So they have total control over everything. And if you look, right there, you can see embedded in that desk, I worked with Evans Consoles and we built the desk to fit this particular application. So I have a 10-inch tablet in that desk. And to change the things on the screen, all they do is touch that, drag them where they want them, and then their screen is totally set up for them. So they walk in, they're alert, they put their things where they want them, their tools where they need them, and it makes them more alert, more able to do their job. But centers can afford it. And if I had to have had a consultant, I wouldn't have been able to afford to sit here. I did all this myself. With the help of Theological, with the help of Evans, I was the designer, I was the project manager. It was 3 years of my life I'll never get back. But it saved my community millions of dollars by doing this, and we were able, for under $5 million, I have a 7-seat PSAP with this technology in it and a brand new facility. And, you know, it was because of long nights, long days, but my thing is I want to give back to the person sitting in that seat because I did it. And I know what a tough job that is. And I know it's only going to get worse. It's going to be misunderstood. People will see it. They see the fire truck, they see the police car, they see the ambulance. And they don't see us. And what they don't understand is everything starts right there. And if they don't have the ability to quickly work through that call, have all those systems working together, and get that call dispatched out, then on the other end, the fire department, the police car, the ambulance, they don't get there in time, and seconds save lives. And that's what I did. I took into account Denise Lee, Kyle Plush, and all of the other things that 911 has failed folks on, and tried to build a center around it to stop those failures as best I could. And unfortunately, funding, I don't know how it's going to turn out. Like I say, I'm in a federal lawsuit over that now. It looks like it's going to work out, but my county politics, my judge executive lost the election right there. This right here, a 24/7 seat, lost in an election. $17,000 for chair. Every campaign ad in the county. $17,000 for chair. Got that?
Well, I mean, I will say on the funding piece, you know, the challenge, and you guys know better than I do, but to me, the challenge is building the NG 911 network. You can fund the current network. Every once in a while, you can do bells and whistles and try to build on top of it. But in order to do a true NG network, that's where we need some sort of federal help. Because then once it's built, you can cut over and we can fund the 911 system, but we can't build a second system while we're still funding the current one.
And really quickly, I just want to add, Wes, I think that's important. I'm glad you said that about federal funding, because the other piece of it is it's so piecemeal right now, right? So what Chris is talking about versus what Kareem was talking about, if every 911 center is not operating at the same level, it's going to defeat the purpose of next year 911. And that's where we need that connection, that funding piece that can get us all to where we need to be, because we're all in different levels and it won't hurt.
Absolutely. You cross county lines,
Yep.
you don't get any of that.
Well, I appreciate it. We have a little video from your center, Chris. I hope I can figure out how to play this.
Yeah, this is the panic button product I was talking about. So these are live in the school. That's what happens in my center if the panic button is ill. So you have to acknowledge that. Telecommunicators have to acknowledge that. And then what they're actually seeing after they acknowledge is a map of where that button was at. So we know where the panic button was at. And then if the next one comes in and it's another button, the map associated with it would change as well. It pushes out to all the teachers, all of the first responders, everybody. They get a silent dispatch on their cell phone and an email saying this event's going on at this particular location. They get the same map. So it was a pretty neat product. I liked the product and I liked the design, and I had the ability to build those panic buttons myself with the matrix switch that I had. But each button would take up 2 ports in the switch, and I would run out of room very quickly, and it was a whole lot more expensive to do it that way. So when I seen this product, I immediately knew how I could incorporate it in that system. So it worked out well for me, but, you know, a 1-seat PSAT, 2-seat PSAT, they can use a tablet like that, set it between them, and be able to operate it. But as you get bigger, as the work inside the PSAT changes, then the ability to Kareem, that tablet would not work in your facility without something like
Well,
that.
the other point that strikes me too is that your community has gone through 2 school shooting events.
Yeah.
You've been fighting for funding to get that, and that's at the county level. I mean, we cannot do this in, as Kareem has said, a piecemeal fashion across the country. Yeah. So I'd like to thank the first panel. If folks have questions, feel free to ask them. If not, thank you guys for coming, and the second panel can come up.